Gilas Pilipinas is gearing up for its final pocket tournament as they prepare for the biggest basketball tournament in the globe, which is, as you know, the FIBA World Cup. Now, still with us this time to discuss Gilas' participation in the China International Hoops Festival is basketball analyst and Gilas alumni, Isaac Go. We begin our discussion, I suppose, before we talk about the China stint. Isaac, since we haven't had you here in a while, can you tell us what are your impressions of the preparations from the Europe stint first? And what have you seen? What were your major takeaways from that Europe participation?
I think number one is finally getting Junmar healthy. And that's the message where I've talked to Coach Tim and Coach Chot is that the number one guy that's been impressive is Junmar Fajardo because he's coming from the injury. And I think a lot of people are going to be shocked with what he's going to do. I think people forget the six-time PBA MVP and how good he is. But to finally see him on the floor, see him healthy, and the coaches are extremely impressed with what he's able to do.
So that's your biggest takeaway from the Europe.
It's going to be Jun. It's going to be Jun.
The big takeaway.
Oh my goodness. And of course, I just love the fact that we know how he got that information. It's because he's a podcast host now and has them both on his show.
It's an insider.
Absolutely. So you take a look at this next phase of preparation. Obviously, a 14-man lineup going there. Junmar Fajardo being one of the guys that we hope really shows out in this tournament. We're playing a team from Africa. We're playing a team from Iran as well. You take a look at what that could mean culturally, because playing different cultures do matter. Why is playing against African competition important for Gilas?
I think that's where you see the difference in style of play. Number one, the Africans, they're definitely going to be tall, athletic, very up and down. Then when you play, this probably goes the same with the South Americans who are very energetic, very emotional when they play, in a good way where they rally their emotions to play better. And again, once you experience that, because it's not saying they play the same, but you can there's like commonalities between African teams, South American teams, European teams, and just having a taste of that, you know, you kind of now, you're not going to be, kumbaga, bulaga na, oh, this is how an African team plays. No, it's going to be like, oh, they kind of play like the Senegal team we're going to play. So that's going to be important.
Which is how, in your experience and in your, whether it's playing with Gilas or just viewing and all of that, what are the things that you look out for when you're playing against African teams or Senegal team like Senegal? Rather?
I remember when I was younger, I got sent to the States for this camp, and there was a team from Africa. And I remember you could bring 12 guys in that roster. 10 of their guys were 6'9" and above. They had one 6'4" guy and then one 6-foot guy. So,
but a lot of them also, correct me if I'm wrong, Isaac, a lot of them were also converted basketball players, right?
Yes.
So what's the skill set there that we look out for?
Number one is they can run, and they're absolutely athletic. And their footwork may not be polished, but they have some level of footwork, some nimbleness to them that they're able to glide up and down the floor. They're able to get to the rim, and they're active. Because in football, when you get, I think Pao can speak for experience, when you get close, you get really, it's not about who bumps who first. It's going to be, I'm going to move my feet first. I'm going to try to get away from contact. So those African teams are going to be tough. And especially now, you never know what, some of these guys have played in the NBA, some of these guys come from Europe. So you're going to have guys now bring those knowledge with the athletic gifts of these African guys.
Yeah, so this Gilas team has actually now, in the past few months, garnered experience playing against European competition. Now will garner experience playing against African competition, and of course we've already have experience playing Asian nations in the past. You take a look at the players we have here though. One of the players that hasn't had a lot of experience is AJ Edu, 6'10" big man, always going to be a wild card. In your conversations with the coaches, has there been any news about AJ Edu and what his role is in this particular lineup?
I think their coaches are considering lining him up, and again in Lithuania, Estonia was a little bit hurt in that situation where the goal was getting him healthy in terms of getting rehab with Coach Dex. And there's a news that against Magnolia, he played really well. So there's that consideration now that, hey, he could be our maybe third, fourth big. And for this tournament, he is going to be their third big. So you're not trial by fire. Your first seniors gig stint will be towards the build of the World Cup. So what better way to show what you got?
Right, you've had your conversations, obviously, with Coach Chot. You've seen them train. What are your concerns? If there are any concerns with the team going forward?
I think number one is health, and that's the situation everywhere. We're talking about Scotty Thompson, still unsure, still in consideration. Where yes, you had AJ injured, and of course you have these knick-knacking injuries throughout the course of a progress. And I think the other thing is, Jordan Clarkson coming late, but yun na. if you look at this China stint, yes, you want, as the coach said, you want Jordan there, but at the same time, it gives the locals a chance to show what they've got. Now, okay, we don't have this gonna be heavy usage guy because we've seen in the stat sheets in Europe where there were games where Brownlee was taking charge and he was carrying a lot of the offensive load. So now having him out, not there, having JC not there, how are these locals now gonna respond? How are they gonna run the system to find their shot? Who's gonna take charge? Who's gonna emerge as the guy for them? So a lot of opportunities up for grabs for these guys.
You take a look at the fact that, okay, you have Jordan Clarkson, Justin Brownlee, a naturalized player slot that has always dominated. Is there anything that we can glean from this as if looking at Coach Chot and thinking, this is how we play when we don't have a Clarkson or a Brownlee on the floor?
Definitely. Number one will be they have to lock up defensively because now they'll know that we're not likely to outscore.
Right.
So we're going to have to lock down defensively and we're going to have to be more patient in hunting good shots because we now don't have a guy we give the ball to clear out of the way. Or they'll be more systematic in hunting mismatches, personalities that they can attack. So they can't just now go in there and bara-bara. They're going to have to be smarter about it. They're going to approach it very technically and tactically to the point that you'll be surprised that they play like the San Antonio Spurs.
Ooh, okay.
Well,
I don't know about that, but yes, okay, sure. But we're not done with Isaac Go and his podcast. I mean, the game, because after the break,